Hello, good evening, everyone. Let's wait for more people to join us. And please, if you can hear me, kindly indicate using the chat box. Thank you. Okay. I can see Emmanuel. I can see John. I can see Abraham Bill, Abasi Toke. If you can't hear me, kindly connect your audio. Abasi Toke Effiong, if you can't hear me, kindly connect your audio at your bottom left. You will see connect audio. Kindly connect your audio if you can't hear me. Let's just wait. We'll start by 8:05. Let's just wait for more people to join us. Then we'll begin. Okay. So welcome on board. This is my Binance class, sponsored by Binance, as you've all seen from the flyers and everything that I've shared. So this class will be talking about the fundamentals of cryptocurrency, specifically blockchain and Bitcoin. As well, we'll also look at some aspect of decentralized finance, DeFi, and we'll see the use cases and the pros and cons of DeFi. So I'll be sharing my screen. In just a few minutes. So let's get more people as we begin. Okay. So it's 1 minute to go before we begin. I'll start sharing my screen. Okay, it's 8:05. I think we can all start now. Welcome everyone. Good evening. Today I'll be taking you on the basis of cryptocurrency, more specifically on blockchain and Bitcoin. I'll be walking you through these two technologies and giving you all they entail. And at the end of the event, I'll also be telling you more about Binance and how you can use Binance to the fullest. Mind you, this class is a two-part series. Today's class is the first part, which will only focus on the fundamentals. We will also have a second class, which will be coming up by weekend on Sunday, to be precise, Sunday's class will focus on Binance P2P, and we'll be talking more on P2P on Sunday's class. So, Saeed, I can see you're raising your hand. Please, if you want to ask a question, kindly make use of the chat box. Okay, kindly make use of the chat box. So I'll begin sharing my screen. I'll begin sharing my screen now. So if you can see my screen, kindly indicate using the chat box. If you can see my screen, kindly indicate during the chat using the chat box. Okay. 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 All right. You can't see. Okay, everything seems good here. Please, if you can't see my screen, kindly leave your Zoom app and enter again. It seems to be from your end. Okay, just kindly leave the app and come back again. You'll be able to see it. So I'll begin. I'll begin now. So let me start. So this class is brought to you by Binance. And as you all know, Binance is your favorite exchange, cryptocurrency exchange to be more specific. There are a lot of exchanges out there, but we at Binance, we do not just want you to just trade crypto. We want you to get the right knowledge before you begin trading crypto, okay? Which is why we do organize events like this on an annual basis. These events do occur annually. This my Binance class, they do occur annually where enthusiasts are brought together and they try to spread the good news and lecture their local communities about what cryptocurrency is all about. So join me on this journey as I educate you on some of these concepts, okay? So as an introduction, my name is Michael Effiong, a student of Akwa Ibom State University, AKSU, in Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria, obviously. And my personal mission is to help in the development of Africa using the various technological tools at my disposal, whereby crypto happens to be one of them. You know, it's a very lovely field. And also, my background is in computer science. I'm actually studying computer science, yeah, and ICT. I'm passionate about cryptocurrency, as you all know, and also driving the adoption of blockchain and crypto assets in Africa. So at the end of this event, we should all know what Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are, how blockchain works. There are several use cases and how to buy and sell cryptocurrencies using your local currencies. And that reminds me, I know we have some non-Nigerians on this. I saw some non-Nigerians on the WhatsApp group, and I believe they're also here. And if you're here, I say good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. It's evening here over in Nigeria. I don't know what the time is in your country, but if you're here, I welcome you. This event is brought to you by Binance, like I mentioned earlier. So I'll be starting at this point with the first question. What is money? Okay. What do you understand by the term money? When money is mentioned, what comes into your mind? Now let's get the answer for ourselves. Now, money is a tool to exchange value. It's any object, obviously, can be used as money. Back in the day, we did have the coins, we had precious metals, we had gold, silver, cowries and all of that. But some materials are more suitable than other materials when it comes to money. That is why you've seen a constant evolution in what we now know as money. A few years ago, coins were the real deal. Everyone was using coins. But today, you can't find coins anywhere. And even if you find them, they are very rare. You won't see much of them. Okay? Now, what gives money value? Now, value is a shared belief, and I'll explain what I mean by that. Money gets its value because people believe it has value. Okay? On its own, money, your piece of paper, is valueless. It has no value on its own. But since everyone believes that it has value, then obviously it has value. That's just it. I can come up today and say, okay, I'll be using a biro to represent money. And if people agree that that biro has value, definitely we'll all use it as a means of exchange. We'll all use it as a tool to exchange value. We'll all use it to pay for goods and services. That is what money is. But as I said earlier, not all items are suitable for money. Now, let's see what items are suitable for money. Let's head over to fiat. What is fiat money? If you're not into cryptocurrency, or if you're just coming into crypto for the first time, you might not understand what fiat means. And I'll explain what fiat means. Now, fiat is paper money issued by a government. Your Naira note is a fiat money. The US dollar issued by the United States government is a fiat money. The pound issued by the UK government is a fiat money. All these are examples of fiat money. And fiat money or paper money, they replaced gold and all these other commodities that we used as money in the past. And it's for a good cause, because when you check out the features of paper money today, you find out that paper money is portable and easy to use. Let's imagine back in the day when we used coins to transact, especially in this part of the world. I don't know other parts. Our brothers from Kenya and Benin, if you're here, I don't know if you guys used coins over there. I believe you guys also use coins as well. So let's imagine you want to pay for, let's say you want to buy a PS5. Yeah, let's say you want to buy a PS5. And a PS5 costs 150,000 Naira. And you have 1 Naira coins. And you want to go and pay for the PS5. You want to go to the store whereby you can purchase the PS5. Imagine how stressful it would be carrying lots of coins in your bag or in your wallet or in your purse, as opposed to paper money that is very portable. You can put 450,000 Naira in your pocket and nobody knows. You just carry it and walk around. That is why over the past, government has deemed it wise that since money needs to be portable, coin has to go. We need something we can carry around with. You might go somewhere and there's an emergency, you need to pay for a service. You need to bring out money to pay. You need to be able to carry money around in case of an emergency or in case of anything else. Okay? So fiat gives you that freedom. it's portable and easy to use. We don't get that with coins. And fiat is also not scarce, which means it leads to inflation. More on this later. And finally, fiat money has no intrinsic value. Yes. Your Naira notes, your 100 Naira notes that you see today, on its own, it has no value. It's just a piece of paper with ink and designs around it. It has no value on its own. What gives its value is because the Nigerian government says it has value. That is also what it means. It doesn't have any value on its own. The US dollar does not have value. It's just a piece of paper. It gets its value because the government says it has value, and everyone in that country must make use of that currency to transact their business. And everyone, as long as you are in that government, you obviously have to abide by the rules and regulations of the government. So that's what gives fiat money its value. But I will take you guys back to the 1930s and earlier, whereby fiat money, these were the early days of fiat money, the early days of coins and paper money, whereby this, so to speak, fiat money, they got their value. There's something called the gold standard. They got their value in relation to gold. All the currencies of the world were all pegged to gold. So your $1 note now might be worth some amount of gold. That was what was used to give value to currencies back in the days before 1930. It was the gold standard. But at some point, nations of the world said, okay, you're not going to continue with the gold standard. The United Kingdom started it first, they stopped, and United States had to follow suit. And between the 1930s and 1970s, we saw the slowly phasing away of the gold standard. And today, each and every currency of the world, you see, gets its own value because the government says it has value. Your Naira is valuable because the Nigerian government says it has value. That's just what you need to know. So fiat money is not the only money available. Okay, it's one of the money available, but it's not the only money available. Let's check out the next money, cryptocurrencies. What is cryptocurrencies? Cryptocurrency is a digital form of money. It's a digital form of money which is protected by cryptography. And cryptocurrency is a digital form of money that cannot be duplicated or destroyed. And cryptocurrencies are distributed via a peer-to-peer network. And cryptocurrencies are borderless. I'll explain these points in details. Now, what do we mean when we say cryptocurrency is a digital form of money? It's digital because we can't see them. They are virtual. We only see those figures on your screen, on your display, on your smartphones, on your laptops. You can't feel them. They are not tangible. You can't touch them. That is why we call them digital form of money. But nonetheless, they still have value. Though they can't be touched, they still have value. And they are protected by cryptography. Okay? Cryptography has to do with complex mathematics and algorithms. I wouldn't want to bore you in with all the details, but just know that cryptography has to do with complex mathematics and algorithms. That is the technology used, the technology used in protecting cryptocurrencies. And also, cryptocurrencies cannot be duplicated and they cannot be destroyed. Let me explain alongside your usual fiat currency. Let's take, for instance, you take your 500 Naira notes, you go to a store to purchase something, and you find out that on getting to the store, your 500 Naira note is torn. And as you all know, the person selling wouldn't accept your 500 Naira note because why? It's torn. It has lost its value. You see, the funniest thing is that your fiat currency doesn't even have value on its own. Now, the fact that the money is torn makes it even worse. It's not accepted. But we don't have cases like that when it comes to cryptocurrency, and that's the sweet part about it. It cannot be duplicated as well. You can see so many 100 Naira notes everywhere. You can see so many 500 Naira notes everywhere, but you can't duplicate cryptocurrencies. Okay. And also, cryptocurrencies are distributed via a peer-to-peer network. I will explain more on this peer-to-peer network and borderlessness of cryptocurrencies in the coming slides. But let's move on and see what Bitcoin is. So what is Bitcoin? The last time I checked, there are over 10,000 cryptocurrencies according to CoinMarketCap. There are over 10,000 digital currencies, and Bitcoin happens to be the first amongst all of them. So Bitcoin is the first cryptocurrency, the first digital form of money that we know. Bitcoin is transparent, and unlike your normal currency, Bitcoin is scarce. Okay, Bitcoin is scarce. It's open source, and it's also censorship resistant. So I'll explain these points for you. Okay, I'll explain these points for you. So what do we mean when we say Bitcoin is transparent? Okay, what do we mean when we say Bitcoin is transparent? The Bitcoin is stored on the blockchain, and every transaction that happens can be seen. More on blockchain later. Okay, more on blockchain later. I will explain what blockchain means, and there you will see the meaning of this transparency I'm talking about. Okay, so Bitcoin is scarce in the sense that there can only be 21 million units of Bitcoin ever in circulation. And that means Bitcoin you can't have inflation. And you know, once something is scarce, the value increases. When we have issues of fuel scarcity, automatically the price of fuel goes up, especially in this part of the world. So the same thing happens in the case of Bitcoin. Since there can only be 21 million Bitcoin, and there are about 7 billion people in the world, everyone is trying to own 21 million Bitcoin. We can't own everything. Some will have to take some part, and since it's scarce, it automatically gives its value. That's one of the intrinsic value of Bitcoin that your fiat currency doesn't have. Fiat currencies are not scarce. The government of Nigeria can wake up any day and say, let's print in more Naira notes and pump them into the economy. And that leads to inflation. When something is not scarce, it loses value. When something is not scarce, it automatically loses value. When something is scarce, the value definitely should appreciate. And Bitcoin is open source, meaning that the code, the source code to Bitcoin can be contributed to. If you're a developer, you can contribute to the source code of Bitcoin. It's not hidden. You can see everything. And lastly, the sweetest part is that Bitcoin is censorship resistant. I'm aware all of you here, especially my Nigerian folks, you all are aware that your Nigerian government has banned the processing of cryptocurrency transactions using their payment gateways and banks. They try to ban Bitcoin, but Bitcoin being censorship resistant means that you can't ban Bitcoin. Bitcoin doesn't have an office. They don't have an address. They don't have a CEO. They can be like, okay, let's shut down this person. Let's shut down this group. Let's shut down this organization. No, it can't happen. It is censorship resistant. That's why different countries of the world have been trying to shut down Bitcoin, but it still strives. Your government, the Nigerian government, a few months ago, thought they could ban cryptocurrency. But as you all know, that even fueled the adoption of crypto. If you pay close attention, you will notice that the number of people that are into crypto have increased from that point up to this point. So that is one of the sweetest things about Bitcoin. Okay. So Bitcoin is a digital form of money, obviously, and Bitcoin is protected by cryptography. Bitcoin can't be duplicated, can't be destroyed, and all of that. Now, who created Bitcoin? Let's put a name to the founder of Bitcoin. Okay. It is believed that the creator of Bitcoin is a pseudonymous computer scientist from Japan. It goes by the name Satoshi Nakamoto. And many people do believe that Satoshi Nakamoto is the creator of blockchain and the person that invented Bitcoin. And why some do believe that he's Japanese, others are of the opinion that he must come from an English-speaking nation, because during the early days of Bitcoin, when he sent out the white paper and other documents to the founding members, he did communicate using English. So why would the Japanese be communicating with English? But like we said, we don't know who created Bitcoin. We only know a pseudonymous computer scientist by the name Satoshi Nakamoto. And don't get me wrong, Satoshi Nakamoto is not his real name. It's just a pseudonymous name that was given to him, just to put an identity on the creator. And after he launched Bitcoin in 2009, Satoshi disappeared. And since then, he hasn't resurfaced up to this point. Who knows how many Bitcoin he has in his wallet? And we don't know why he's hiding. So we all know that there's someone somewhere who invented Bitcoin, but we don't know his name. But we just choose to call him Satoshi, or Satoshi Nakamoto in full. And one of his beautiful creation solved the problem of double spending. Double spending in the sense that you pay for a transaction twice. I know most of you might have made a transaction, let's say with your mobile banking app, and instead of doing the transfer once, it goes twice. These are the kind of problem that blockchain technology, which was invented by Satoshi, tries to solve. Now, what is blockchain? The technology that powers cryptocurrencies. What is it? My map here, you will see that there are different points on this map with lines linking them together. And this goes to tell you that blockchain is a database, a distributed database. In fact, it's not a database that is stored in a particular location. It's stored across the world. If you check out this slide, you will see the world map and you see different points. That's how blockchain works. The database is stored across different centers. And the last time I checked, majority of the database location, especially for Bitcoin, are located in Asia. Okay, now let's go more deeper into blockchain and get an understanding. And before I move on, please, if you do have questions on what I've said so far, you can drop them in the comment box, in the chat box. I would answer them at the end of the class. I will try and answer as much as I can at the end of the class. So I won't be taking questions during the presentation, but after the class, I'll answer as much questions as possible. And also stay tuned to the end of the class because I'll be doing a little giveaway for some people, for some people at the end of the class. So drop your questions and also stay tuned for the giveaway. Let's continue. What is blockchain? Like I've mentioned earlier, blockchain is a distributed database. It's a chain of linked blocks. Now, information in blockchain are stored in what we call blocks. Data are stored in what we call blocks. And these blocks are chained together. When a new data is gotten or a new information is gotten, the previous block is chained to the new block. And the chain continues and goes on and on and on and on, which is why we have the term blockchain. Okay? And blockchain is a special type of ledger. I'm sure most of us here already understand what the term ledger means. It's used by our financial institutions to record financial transactions. And that's what blockchain does primarily. But you can also store more than financial transactions on the blockchain. But for now, let's just say you can store money, you can store documents, and all sorts of data on the blockchain. And blockchain is also tamper-proof, meaning you can't modify the details in the blockchain. I will explain. You can modify the details in the blockchain, unlike your traditional ledger, whereby someone can just go and change some figures. But in the case of a blockchain, you can't do that. If you want to change it, you have to change it on all the nodes. Let me explain. Now, there's what we call miners. Okay, miners are those who validate transactions. They are the ones that make your transaction happen. Let's say you are investor Sabinus, for instance, and you want to send, you have 2 BTC in your account, and you want to send 1 BTC to your wife. Once you make that transaction, it will show as pending. Okay, it will show as pending. Now, for the transaction to be validated, there are people called miners that are scattered all over the globe. Now, remember earlier we said blockchain is a distributed database. Now, these miners, they are the ones in charge of validating transactions, checking if transactions are authentic and genuine. And once they find out that, okay, Mr. Sabinus is about to send 1 Bitcoin out of his 2 Bitcoin to his wife, and they see that the transaction is valid, they approve the transaction. And once the transaction is approved, it is given a transaction hash, or in layman's term, a reference number where we can use in referencing that transaction. And also, once that transaction is completed, it is added to the previous block. Remember, I said earlier that blockchain, data on blockchain are stored in blocks, okay? And new set of blocks are added to previous blocks. They are chained together. That's where we get the term blockchain. They are stored as blocks. And once this block is stored, that information is distributed across all the servers worldwide. See these servers as your ledger, your digital ledger, your blockchain. They are distributed worldwide. They are not in a particular location. So Mr. Sabinus sending 1 Bitcoin to his wife would also be recorded on the server in any part of the world. They're not just recorded on one system, they are duplicated on all. They call them, the traditional term is called nodes. The traditional term is called nodes. This transaction is distributed across all the computers. Now, remember I mentioned earlier that about cryptography. Now, for every transaction to be possible, these miners are the ones in charge of solving these cryptographic puzzles. Once they're able to solve these cryptographic puzzles, then they're able to approve your transaction. Now, let's look at this slide. The participants don't need to trust each other. Everyone keep tracks of balance and transaction. And what happens if someone tries to cheat the system? What happens if one of the miners try to approve a transaction twice? Let's say Mr. Sabinus is sending 2 Bitcoin now to his wife, and he has sent the 2 Bitcoin, and everyone, all the miners, have it recorded on their system, because for each transaction that happens, it is stored on each and every system of those miners or validators. You can call them miners, you can call them validators. So each transaction that occurs is stored on each of those systems. They are scattered across the globe. Remember, it's a distributed database. It's not in a static location. So if someone tries to cheat the system, it won't be possible, because each and every, you have to alter those information that have been stored on each and every system across the world. And when you're doing that, you also need to solve cryptographic puzzles, which takes some time and computing power as well. So once you look at the stress of going through all that, you find out that it's difficult to cheat the system. It's difficult to cheat on the blockchain. You can't approve a transaction twice. Let's say you have 2 Bitcoin in your wallet and you want to send, you've already sent the 2 Bitcoin. The person has received it. And due to the fact that you're smart, you're cunning, you want to approve the transaction again, you won't be able to do that. For you to be able to do that, you have to alter each and every of those previous transactions. And once you try to do that, all these validators that are scattered across the world will get notified that, oh, someone is about to tamper with the system. And as you all know, majority always carries the highest votes. So once the majority of the validators see that someone is trying to do something illegal, they kick you out and the transaction is unsuccessful. So that's why it's difficult to cheat in blockchain. That doesn't mean blockchain is entirely safe, because as expected, there's always an exception to everything. The same, there are hackers everywhere, okay? Now, there's a general misconception, and certain people like to misconfuse Bitcoin and blockchain, but they are two different entities. Now, basically, Bitcoin is a form of money. Bitcoin is a form of money that can be used to make payments, pay for goods and services wherever you are in the world. Whereas blockchain is used to record Bitcoin transactions. Every transaction that is made on the Bitcoin network is recorded on the blockchain. And as I mentioned earlier, it's a distributed database. It's not a fixed database. It's distributed worldwide. So once Mr. A sends Bitcoin to Mr. B, that transaction is recorded on the database and it's assigned a transaction hash. And that transaction is duplicated across all the computers, across all the ledgers. So that's what you should know. Blockchain and Bitcoin, they are not the same thing. Bitcoin is a currency, whereas blockchain records all transactions that go on the Bitcoin network. And there are different types of blockchain, but for this class, we'll be focusing only on the Bitcoin blockchain. Each and every transaction that happens on the Bitcoin network is stored on the Bitcoin network. So Bitcoin is a digital currency, a financial asset. It is tradable. You can trade, you can exchange it for your fiat currency. Bitcoin has value in relation to the fiat currency. The last time I checked, one Bitcoin goes for the price of $46,000. I don't know the price in Naira, but one Bitcoin goes for the price of $46,000. So it's tradable. You can't do that with blockchain. So know the difference there. And it's the first and most popular cryptocurrency. You know, there are over 10,000 cryptocurrencies, but Bitcoin happens to be the first and the most popular amongst each and every one of them. And Bitcoin is a computer software, and its code is open source. It is public and decentralized. Decentralized in the sense that there is no central entity in control of Bitcoin. There is no central bank that prints Bitcoin or decides when Bitcoin will be printed. No, it doesn't happen in that way. It's not controlled by anyone. It's open source. No owner, no CEO, no government in charge of it, just purely decentralized. Whereas your blockchain is used in recording information and all forms of, remember I said you can record more than just financial transactions. You can record any form of digital data on the blockchain. And it has several use cases. We'll be looking at the use cases of blockchain in the coming slides. And there are several ways to build blockchains. Okay, there are several ways to build blockchains. Like I mentioned earlier, there are different types of blockchain. We have the Ethereum blockchain. We have the Binance. We have Solana. Name them. There are different types, but the most popular amongst each and every one of them is the Bitcoin blockchain. Okay. Now, let's differentiate between Bitcoin and your fiat currency. Let's tell you why your Bitcoin is much better than your fiat currency. Now, your fiat currency is centralized, whereas your Bitcoin is decentralized. your central bank might wake up one day and say, okay, we are we are stopping the printing of naira, or let's just print more naira and pump into circulation. They're in charge of releasing money or removing money from circulation. Whereas in Bitcoin, it's purely decentralized. No one is in charge of it. Okay, central bank is obviously controlled by government. So the Nigerian central bank, your fiat money is controlled by the Nigerian government. Your naira, your US dollar is controlled by the United States government. And whereas Bitcoin is distributed via a peer-to-peer network, it's not controlled by anyone, but it moves from one place to another. And your fiat money is not scarce. Fiat money is not scarce, which leads to inflation. And that's not the case with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is scarce, which gives it value. And fiat money has unlimited supply, charge backs, and inefficient, whereby your Bitcoin has just a limited supply of 21 million units. There can only be 21 million units of Bitcoin. And last time I checked, there are just 18 point something million of Bitcoin in circulation. So this is what's giving it its value. It's scarce. 7 billion people trying to own 21 million units of a digital asset. You can see how valuable that asset will be. So transaction cannot be reversed in cryptocurrency since it's not controlled by any bank. If you make a failed transaction, you can't reverse it when it comes to cryptocurrency. If you send crypto to the wrong address, I'm sorry, unless the person sends the crypto back to your address, but there's no one to reverse the transaction for you, no central body, no arbiter, okay, no intermediary to complain to that would send the money. That's why you have to be careful. But despite that, it's also fast and it's cheap and is also censorship resistant, as I've explained earlier. Now, using bank transfer is expensive and takes lots of processing time. Let's say you want to send $200, or in this case, from our slide, Alice is about to send $200 to Bob. Now, Alice sends $200 and a fee of $14 is charged. And it takes 3 working days to process. You can't have something like that in the case of cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies are very fast. You can send Bitcoin to anyone across the world in just split seconds, and the person sees it in their wallet. And the fees are not that much. The fees when it comes to cryptocurrencies are not that much. And do you know that remittances worldwide made up to 689 billion in 2018, and 77% of that number would count for $48 billion. So remittances are those fees that are charged for transactions worldwide. Imagine how big the figure is in 2018. Now, you won't have such things when it comes to cryptocurrency transfer or blockchain transfer. Now, let's say Alice is sending that same $200, the crypto equivalent, to Bob, and he's being charged just $1, and the transaction takes between 30 to 90 minutes. Okay, this is just in the worst case scenario, 30 to 90 minutes. Most blockchains that I know, there are different types of blockchain. The Solana network doesn't take time. The Avalanche network doesn't take time. to complete transaction. You can send transactions. Some networks do send transactions like 1,000 transactions in 60 seconds. You can send over 1,000 transactions in 60 seconds in 1 minute, to tell you how fast it is to transfer crypto from one person to the other. But there are different factors that determine how fast a network will be able to transfer their crypto. We will not be touching that aspect. Okay, we are just going through the fundamentals for now. Okay. Now, did you know that on the 16th of January, this was 2020, someone paid $0.49 in fees to move over $1 billion worth of BTC in a single transaction? I bet you can't find that when you're transferring fiat. We all know how long it takes. Let's say you want to receive money abroad from Western Union or all those other platforms. You know how long it takes and the fee they do charge. But in cryptocurrencies, they are much faster and the fees are less. Yes, they are less relatively, although sometimes you might want to carry out, let's say you want to carry out a transaction of, let's use Bitcoin for instance. Let's say you want to send Bitcoin worth 10,000 Naira to someone. The fees could go as high as 3,000 to 5,000 for a 10,000 transaction. You might call that expensive, but let's say you want to send 1 million and you charge a fee of 5,000. That's cheap when you compare it to what you'll be charged if you're sending on Western Union or other forms of fiat transfer. So that's one of the main reasons why you should use Bitcoin. That's why everyone wants to use Bitcoin. And that's why you're here, because you want to learn how to use Bitcoin and how to transact using cryptocurrencies. Moving on, let's look at wallets. Now, wallet is a tool used to interact with a blockchain network and can be divided into 3 main groups. We have software wallets and hardware wallets. And for the software wallets, example can be your Trust wallet, your MetaMask, your Maps wallet. You can name them. There are lots of them. Token Pockets, SafePower wallets. There are also web wallet as well. MetaMask is an example of web wallet. And some of these software wallets do have their web equivalent, whereby you can use them on websites or on your computer, your desktop. So we also have what we call hot and cold wallets. Hot and cold wallets. Your hot wallet can also be classified as your software wallet. They are connected to the internet. Their private keys are stored on the internet. Okay, that's what you should know. Whereas your cold wallet is your hardware wallet. It's not connected on the internet, or to the internet rather. The private keys are stored on the device, the hardware device, and is changed from time to time. Each time you try to use it, the private key is changed. Okay, that is what wallets are. And your wallet is used for storing cryptocurrencies. They are not used for trading, although some wallets do have a feature whereby you can trade. But basically, the main use case of a wallet, a cryptocurrency wallet, is for storing your cryptocurrency assets, your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, your BNB, your Litecoin, you name them. You all store them on your wallet. Then if you want to trade them, it's advisable you move them to an exchange like Binance, whereby you can trade them for your fiat or other cryptocurrencies as well. So mind you, there's a reason why it is called a wallet. Okay, there's a reason why it is called a wallet. It is used to hold huge sums of cryptocurrency assets. It's not used to trade. If you want to trade, you move your assets to an exchange. But if you just want to keep your crypto, you keep them in an exchange. There are different options to choose from. You can go for a hardware wallet. You can go for a software wallet. There are pros and cons to each and every one of them. Hardware wallets are believed to be more secure in the sense that you can't easily hack them when compared to software wallets that are connected to the internet, whereby a hacker can remotely hack into your wallet and steal away your funds. But someone cannot remotely hack you when you're using a hardware wallet. You have to gain physical access to you and maybe steal the wallet. So those are the pros and cons. And hardware wallets might not be that convenient to use when you compare to their software counterparts. You can open your software wallet on your mobile phone on the go while walking on the road. You can check the cryptocurrency asset. You can make payments on it, send money to someone. But to use your hardware wallet, you have to be connected to a computer. You have to connect it via a dongle to your laptop or your desktop. So there are pros and cons to which one you choose. But if you'll be storing huge sum of cryptocurrency, as a rule of thumb, it's advisable you go for a hardware wallet. It's much safer if you'll be storing a whole lot of assets. Okay, let's move on. And let's look at the use cases of blockchain technology. Now, blockchain technology can be used in remittances. It can be used also in supply chain and in the healthcare sector. But there are also other use cases as charity, decentralized finance, otherwise known as DeFi, DApps, or decentralized apps, gaming, governance, identity management, and Internet of Things. We'll explain the use, how blockchain is used in remittance, supply chain, and healthcare. Now, I said earlier that remittance are those money that is charged from fees, those fees that you do pay to process a transaction. These are all remittances. And worldwide transfer of money, the largest flow of funds into developing country, fastest growing industry. So what you have to know that remittance are fees that are collected for transaction, especially when transferring money from one country to another country. So your normal traditional remittance, you can send money worldwide, as is the same thing with your blockchain remittance, and you can, and it is seen to be the largest flow of funds into developing countries. And when you look at it, it's quite true. People do send money from US to Nigeria more than Nigeria sent from Nigeria to the US. You know, we all, some of us here, we do have friends and relatives or family members who are living in developed countries, and they do send us money as developing countries. So remittances help in one of the largest flow of funds from other developed countries into our developing country. Nigeria obviously is a developing country. We're not there yet, and hopefully we'll get there. Okay, but when you're using blockchain remittance, there are less intermediaries, which means it's going to be faster, which also means you'll be charged lower fees. I mentioned the example of Western Union earlier on. You want to send money, or your brother or your sister, your relative, your friend wants to send money via Western Union, which is one of the most popular ways of sending money over before now, it was one of the most popular ways of receiving money from abroad, from your friends. You want to receive money from Western Union, it takes days, weeks, and depending on the transaction, it might even take months because there are a lot of middlemen involved. You have to process papers, even when you want to do wire transfer, there's a lot of intermediaries involved. But in the blockchain, there are less intermediaries. You just have to get the person's wallet address and you send the transaction, carry out the transaction, you send the money, and the validators, they look at the transaction. If the transaction is valid, they approve it ASAP. The person receives the funds. No much talk, no much hassle, stress-free. So you can see why blockchain is important. You can see the importance of blockchain technology. Also, blockchain is also used in supply chain. Traditionally, the supply chain is a network of people and businesses creating and distributing products or services. And your traditional supply chain lacks efficiency and transparency. Let's say you're a manufacturing industry and you want to supply files from one point to another. There are a lot of intermediaries involved. Using your traditional supply chain, there are a lot of intermediaries, middlemen involved, and it's not transparent. Someone can, let's say you're supplying something, someone somewhere might, alter the transaction to suit them. It's not transparent. But in a blockchain, since it's open source and decentralized, everyone can view what is going on the blockchain network. Once a transaction is carried out, it's visible to everyone. You can go there and see it. Okay? Fun fact, that you can literally scan someone's wallet and see what the person has in his or her cryptocurrency wallet, in his or Bitcoin or Trust wallet or whatever wallet they use. It's very possible to do that. If you have the address, you can go on the blockchain, you scan the wallet, it's transparent, you see everything there. The transaction the person has been making as well. Okay? Unless using a custodian wallet or a private wallet that prevents such kind of things from happening. But the traditional blockchain and traditional wallet you would be able to view the transactions that are going on. So that's why one of the reasons why you should move over to blockchain. Blockchain is tamper-proof, it's customizable, it's secure and transparent. As I mentioned earlier, it has less intermediaries and the likeliness of frauds are less. And it also reduces labor work and costs are reduced. So like I said earlier, in the case of remittances, these middlemen, these intermediaries, you have to pay them for their services. But blockchain, you don't need to pay anyone. You just make the transaction over at your end. The validators approve your transaction and the person receives the payment or whatsoever digital form of data you're transferring. Tell you how sweet it is using blockchain technology. Now, blockchain is also used in healthcare. Your traditional healthcare would store medical data. The data can be easily erased or modified. And the data are centralized. That means they're stored in a particular location whereby hackers can go there and tamper with the files or the documents. And it's not transparent. And medical insurance frauds can also occur. Whereas when using blockchain in healthcare sector, you can easily customize it and it's also accessible. It is built as private network, okay? And it's permission-based. That means only the hospital staff and patients can gain access to it. And there's less risk of fraud, and security is uptight. Your data is also protected and is interoperable, meaning that you can operate it on different networks. Okay. Now let's move over to decentralized finance. One of the very interesting topics in the world of crypto. There are a lot of topics to be covered in the world of crypto, and decentralized finance is one of those gray areas that a lot of people, especially some of you here, are still having a hard time understanding how it works. But I'll try and cover them as much as I can. So decentralized finance is just the opposite of your centralized finance, your normal financial system that we are all used to, your normal banking system. Is just the opposite of it. That's what decentralized finance means. Okay. Now, there are different types of decentralized finance. We have the DEXs. The DEXs are decentralized exchanges. These are places where you go to carry out transactions, decentralized transactions. And we also have lending services as well, and borrowing services. And some of the benefits of DeFi or decentralized finance is that financial inclusion, same rule applies to everyone. There is no barrier to entry when it comes to DeFi. Whereas in your traditional finance, let's say you want to open a bank account today in Nigeria, you'll be asked to get your BVN done. You have to enroll for BVN. You have to get an ID card, a government issued ID card for a fact, and other documents as well, utility bills, passport photographs, and all those documents. And some of us, due to one reason or the other, we do not have those documents, and it prevents us from enjoying the traditional financial system. There was this statistic that said that a lot of Nigerians are unbanked. That means a lot of Nigerians don't have bank accounts. But that's what decentralized finance is trying to solve. You don't need all those things. You don't need any rules. It's just plug and play. Just get your wallet and your wallet address, and you're good to go. Okay. Now, decentralized finance, another benefit is that it can be accessed globally. Anyone can use DeFi. It is private and permissionless. You don't need permission from anyone to use DeFi. It is private. Okay. Now, if you want to send money from your bank account to someone else's account using your traditional finance, you have to enroll for transfer on your traditional finance. You have to make sure you've enabled mobile transfer on your mobile app. You need permission to do that in your bank. The bank will have to approve the transaction for it to go through. But you can't find that on decentralized finance. It is non-custodial, meaning, as I explained before, you don't need any KYC, those documents, your ID cards, utility bills, passport photographs, and all those things. You don't need it for you to be able to use DeFi. It's easy to enter, and there's also liquidity. But in as much as DeFi is very easy to come into, there are also some issues associated with it. And one of such issues is education. A lot of people lack proper knowledge as to how DeFi works. So I think people still need more enlightenment in the field of decentralized finance. And you can check out Binance Academy. There are certain articles there, or there's an article on Binance Academy. I'll see if I'll be able to share the article later, where you can learn more about decentralized finance. And do well to also visit Binance Academy from time to time. It's a very lovely place. It has lectures that covers both beginners, um, advanced, those that are advancing to crypto, and also intermediate, your intermediate folks, those that already have little knowledge. So it's structured. Each article on Binance Academy is categorized into beginner, advanced, or intermediate. So no matter the level of your level of expertise when it comes to cryptocurrencies, you'll be able to find tutorials that will build you up on Binance Academy. And remember, at Binance, we do not just want you to trade crypto, we also want you to get the right knowledge. And we also keep updating our tutorials on Binance Academy to make sure you're updated and you get the right knowledge for you to be able to become very profitable in the field of cryptocurrency. Because as we all know, especially in this part of the world, financial intelligence is one of those gray areas that we are not taught in schools. We learn it the hard way. Most of us will make money and we squander it as if nothing happens. But that financial intelligence is not there, especially in this part of the world, and that is what we at Binance, in as much as we need financial freedom, we also want you to be educated on how to manage your money and how not to lose your money and how to preserve your money so that at the end of the day you will be happy. So moving on, let's continue with DeFi. Another problem that comes with DeFi is that the scalability issues also persist when it comes to fees, especially on the Ethereum network. You can decentralized finance also applies to different networks. There are what we call networks on crypto. We have the Solana network, which has been popular in the past few days due to the fact that Solana coin has been increasing in its value. We also have the Binance Smart Chain or the Binance network, and we also have the Phantom network. We also have the Matic network. These are some of the popular networks available. There's also the Near network, okay? And these networks have tokens that are built on them, okay? But you can also carry out DeFi on some of these networks. On Solana network, you can use DeFi. On your Binance Smart Chain, you can also use DeFi. But on Ethereum network, one of the main problems that deter people is the issue of fees. The fees are so high that so many people can't afford it. For a transaction of, let's say, $10, you can be charged fees, which is much more than that your $10 that you want to send. Okay, so that's one of the problems associated with DeFi, especially with the Ethereum network. That's why we have other networks which compensate for the lapses of Ethereum network, like the Phantom Opera network or the FTM network is quite cheaper. The same thing applies for Solana network, your Matic network, and all of that. Those other networks are quite cheaper. But as with everything, you should know your pros and cons. You should do your proper research before knowing which network to carry out your decentralized finance on, okay? Now, user experience mistake is another problem that is faced with DeFi. A lot of users lack proper knowledge about what DeFi entails. So, which makes them unable to carry out transactions. Okay, they are no experience. I can understand that earlier this year, there was this rush of shitcoins and all of that. Okay, shitcoins, everyone was buying shitcoins. Although some people did make money out of it, but some people also lost due to the fact that they don't have experience. Now, some of these shitcoins were also used as a trap, okay, as a trap to lure people into collecting their money. And if you're a newbie into the world of decentralized finance, you won't know this, and you keep putting in your money and you won't be able to take your money out. So these are some of the mistakes and some of the issues that arise with DeFi. And when something happens like this, there's no security or no one to complain to due to the fact that it's decentralized. So it's not secure. Okay, that's one of the issues that come with DeFi. It's not secure. Although there are security measures you can take to be safe, but there are no set rules. There's no one to complain to once you make a failed transaction or you make a mistake. If you deposit money into the wrong pool when you're farming, it's gone. So no one to complain to. So that's why you need experience. And that's one of the issues that has been faced with DeFi. And finally, interoperability, meaning that it's difficult to use different blockchains at once when it comes to DeFi. Now, if you want to do something on a decentralized finance or on a DEX, you have to focus on one network. Whereas when it comes to SEX, your centralized exchange, you can carry out transactions on different networks at once. Take, for instance, on Binance, you can send SOL to someone. You can send other SOL-based tokens to someone without stress. But you can't do that on decentralized finance. You have to focus on only one network. Okay, it's not interoperable. All right. Now we are coming to the end of our class. You guys should be dropping in your questions by now. I'll be taking them one after the other. Okay. So let's look at Binance. Binance is your favorite exchange. We are the world leading blockchain and cryptocurrency infrastructure provider with a financial product that include the largest digital assets exchange by volume. Yes, according to volume, Binance is the #1 exchange worldwide. That means that a lot of people, like majority of crypto traders around the world, make use of Binance. And it's because of the quality of service that is being offered. That's why everyone wants to make use of Binance, and so should you. Okay. So at Binance, we are trusted by millions worldwide. We are dedicated to increasing the freedom of money for users and features. And we also feature an unmatched portfolio of crypto products and offerings. Okay, we have a lot of products. I will show that to you later on. So you can all find that on Binance. We are not just an exchange, we are an ecosystem. Okay, Binance is more than just an exchange. We don't just allow you to exchange cryptocurrency. We are trying to cover cryptocurrency on all grounds, educationally, financially, and otherwise. All right. So one of our goals at Binance is financial freedom. Our vision is to increase the freedom of money globally. We believe that by spreading this freedom, we can significantly improve lives around the world, which is true. Who doesn't want to be financially free? I bet we all want to, okay? Now, Binance was launched sometime in 2017, 2018, okay? And 42 days after launch, Binance became number 10 in the world, according to, in terms of trading volume. And in 92 days, or 3 months, Binance rose number 5. And in just over 150 days, Binance rose to number 3. It only took 165 days since the launch of Binance to move to the #1 exchange in the world by trading volume. That's how big we are. Everyone wants to make use of Binance because of the sweet products we do offer. and also the education and huge support we also provide. Now, Binance is global, and we are located across 180 countries of the world with 40 plus team members across these different countries and regions. And you can also use Binance in over 15 languages. Okay, these are one of the main reasons why I love using Binance. Okay, now let's look at the Binance ecosystem as of June last year. Okay, we have the Binance chain and decentralization. We have trust wallets. We have partner fiat to crypto exchanges. These are all our products. Okay, we have spot and margin trading, futures and options, fiat gateways, P2P. We'll be talking about P2P in our next class. OTC, cards, loans, savings, Launchpad, Binance Lab, Binance Charity, Binance Academy. Once again, do check out Binance Academy. You're definitely going to learn a lot in there. Okay, you level up on your crypto skills, right? There's also Binance Research. These are all our products. You should do well to check them out on your Binance app or on your mobile phone or on the desktop. So at Binance, you get the best of both worlds. Okay, you get the lowest fees. Using Binance guarantees you cheap fees. There was this exchange, I won't mention names. There was this exchange I tried using a few months back. I tried sending cryptocurrencies and a cryptocurrency asset to one of my wallets, and I was charged a very high fee. And although I do have an account with that exchange, I rarely use that exchange. Why? Their fees scared me away. I won't lie. We all want cheap fees, but the fee that was charged scared me away. So we get the cheapest fees for cryptocurrency transaction on Binance. Okay, that's one of the reasons. And you can also transact in seconds, and it's easy to deposit and withdraw on Binance. It's easy, it's fast, it's convenient. Okay. Now, for depositing cryptocurrencies, we have three options you can utilize. You can either use bank transfer or your Visa or MasterCard or P2P. Now, you'll find out that these first two options, especially if you're from this part of the world in Nigeria, the first two options, your bank transfer and your Visa card, has been made impossible due to the restriction placed by the federal government. But you can as well use P2P. I'll be showing you guys how to deposit and withdraw on P2P on Sunday, same time. So stay tuned for that class. Okay, so these are the ways whereby you can deposit your fiat currencies to start trading on Binance. It's easy and fast. It's also convenient. Okay. Now, I won't be going into the practical session today. We'll be doing that on Sunday, where I'll be showing you how to buy and sell on Binance P2P. I'll show you everything you need to know, security measures you need to take, and how to find the best deals on P2P. Also, if you're also interested in making money on P2P, I'll also be sharing tips that you can be able to use to do that. All right? Yeah, that will be on Sunday. Okay, 8 p.m. is the time. More details will be dropping on the group. Also, as an incentive, if you sign up using my link, I'll be dropping my link in the comment box, in the chat box very soon. If you sign up using my link and you trade your first crypto this week, you'll be getting $5 as a reward. If you do not have a Binance account, then I'll be dropping my link. Okay, I'll be dropping my Binance link where you can sign up. Once you sign up, you trade your first crypto within 1 week, and Binance will be giving you $5 as a reward, as a welcome reward. So sign up, verify your account, and trade your first crypto today, right? So we are coming to the end of this class, and I would like to take your questions as we proceed. Okay, I would like to take your questions. I don't know if you do have questions. You can start dropping your questions now. Okay, you can start dropping your questions now. I will start taking questions. If you have any questions, you can start dropping your questions now. I would answer as much as I can. Okay. And we'll also be looking at the giveaway aspects. Okay. So prepare, make sure you follow Binance Africa on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter as well, and also follow Binance on Twitter. I'll be dropping links to the giveaway. I'll be dropping a form for the giveaway, and I'll be rewarding the first 5 people that would follow Binance on Twitter. Okay. You follow Binance on Twitter, tweet about what you've learned at this class, tag me and tag at Binance Africa, and use the hashtag at Binance class. I'll be dropping a Google form. I'll be dropping the Google form later on after I'm done answering your questions. So first 5 people to fill that, be getting an airtime reward from me. Okay. So remember, make sure you follow Binance Africa on Twitter. Follow me as well at Michael F. Young. Also follow Binance and tweet about your experience on tonight's class. Okay. And also keep in touch with us on our different social media platforms. I'll be dropping our different social media links in the chat box pretty soon. So I'm waiting for your questions. This is the time for question and answers. So in case you have any question, in case you lost in any aspect, kindly drop your question as I'll start answering them right away. Okay. All right. Okay. I have our first question here from Taiwo Olan. Okay. Taiwo Olan is asking, what's the difference between blockchain and Binance? And from the look of things, it seems you're coming late, but no problem. I'll still answer your question. So in simple terms, Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency asset. Okay, you can use it to make payments. You can send Bitcoin from point A to point B. Okay, whereas blockchain is a distributed ledger. Okay, whereby all Bitcoin transactions are located. Okay. Okay, what is the difference between blockchain and Binance? Okay, all right, fine. Okay, what's the difference between blockchain and Binance? Fine. So blockchain, I guess you're talking about the app in this case. Okay. I don't know about the block. I think the blockchain app you're talking about is the wallet app. I think that's what you're talking about. The blockchain app is the wallet app. That is not the blockchain that we are talking about in this instance. Okay. So okay, yeah, the wallet. So Binance is an exchange. Okay. Binance is an exchange, while the blockchain is a wallet app where you can use to store your what's it called? To store your cryptocurrency assets. Like I said earlier, we have different types of exchanges. Also have different types of wallets. So blockchain in this instance has to be, I believe you're talking about the wallet. So just know that Binance is an exchange platform, and your blockchain app is a cryptocurrency wallet where you use to store your cryptocurrency assets. Okay, you use Binance to trade. You use blockchain app to store your cryptocurrency assets. Okay, so I'll be dropping links to our different social media handles right away while I continue answering your questions. So you can go ahead and follow them. Don't tweet now. Don't tweet now. I will tell you when it's time to start tweeting for the giveaway. So don't tweet now. So hold your horses. Hold your horses. When the time is come, I will tell you what it means. Okay. So let me drop our different communities, our Telegram channels. Okay, for Binance Nigeria and Binance Africa. You can go there, ask questions, and make inquiries as well. So let's see. Okay, I have another question here from Abraham Bill. He said I should brush up on Binance. And before that, someone said, are you going to talk on Binance spot and futures trading in subsequent classes? We might arrange for a class for that. But our next class would be focused on P2P trading. Okay, our next class will be focused on P2P trading. So he also said I should brush up on DeFi. Okay, like I explained earlier, DeFi, otherwise known as decentralized finance, is the polar opposite of your traditional financial system. Now, in DeFi, we have what we call borrowing, lending, farming, staking, and different products. Okay, now you don't need there are no barriers to entry on DeFi. Okay, it's a way of making money, and there are different ways you can make money on DeFi. It's a very advanced topic, but let me just explain some part of it. Now, when it comes to staking, you can make money on DeFi via staking, whereby you have a certain cryptocurrency asset. Let's take, for instance, BNB. You have BNB on your wallet, and you don't just want to keep your BNB lying idle in your wallet. Okay, you want to make money from it. You can utilize that with DeFi. You can go and stake your BNB and start earning rewards of other tokens. There are different places where you can do that. We have your Bakery Swap and Pancake Swap. Also have Juice Swap. These are some of the popular options. Okay, you can also farm. They're essentially the same thing. Okay, you can also farm. These are some of the ways you can make money on DeFi. Another way you can also make money on DeFi is providing liquidity. Okay, liquidity in the sense that unlike your traditional finance, unlike your traditional financial system where you have your banks and all of that, in DeFi, there's what we call liquidity provision. Now, when we're talking about DeFi, the owners of PancakeSwap, for instance, don't have any cryptocurrency assets. Okay, the owners of PancakeSwap don't have any BNB. Now, as someone into DeFi, you can provide BNB as liquidity so that those who come to trade using decentralized exchanges can be able to carry out their transactions. But once you're providing your BNB, be rest assured, you won't just be getting your BNB back, you also be getting some additional incentives as a reward. Okay? Those who come to trade on decentralized exchanges are charged fees. Okay? those who come to trade on decentralized exchange are charged fees, and these fees are used to pay you as a reward at the end of the day. So you put your BNB so that people who come to trade, who come to buy and sell on decentralized exchanges now will be able to do that. Because unlike a traditional financial system, the central bank owns all the Naira notes, or let's say the Nigerian government owns all the Naira notes. Okay. But in the case of decentralized finance, nobody owns your PancakeSwap is one of the decentralized exchange. They don't own any BNB. They don't own any cake. Liquidity is provided by the users. It is decentralized. It's not controlled by anyone. Okay. So, and there are also aspects of decision making whereby users tend to make decisions on how operations are carried out. So the owners of decentralized exchanges, they don't just carry out decisions. Decisions are carried out by liquidity providers, stakers, and farmers. So that's some of the brief aspects you can you would know on DeFi. If we might do a separate class on DeFi. Maybe we might do a separate class on DeFi where we touch specific aspects on DeFi. So if you're interested, you can let me know and we'll work towards that. Okay. Someone say Tai Wulan said the blockchain wallets are, since it's used to store cryptos, can't it be used to receive or make payments using digital? Of course. Like I said earlier during my explanation, we can use our wallets not just to store. We can use them to make payments, send our cryptocurrency assets from one person to another. Okay, so you can also use them to make payments as well. You also use them to store, make payments, just like your normal wallet now that you carry around. You use your wallet to store your fiat currencies, and when you want to make payments, you bring out your wallet and you make your payments. Okay. So someone said, please repeat the rules for the giveaway. I didn't get it earlier. Okay. So it's not yet time to start tweeting. I have not dropped the link for the giveaway. Okay, I'll be dropping a Google form where you have to fill. Once I drop that form, you can start tweeting. Now, what you have to do is you would tweet. Let's go back to our slide. We tweet about what we've learned in this class using the hashtag MyBinanceClass. Tweet about what you've learned using the hashtag MyBinanceClass. Make sure you follow Binance Africa on Twitter and also follow Binance as well on Twitter. I'll drop their social media handle as well. I'll also drop my social media handle, my Twitter handle. Make sure you also give me a follow. So the first time you to tweet about what they've learned and their experience so far in this class using the hashtag, and have followed Binance and successfully filled the form. The first part will be getting an airtime reward from me. Okay, I'll be dropping the form much later. For now, let's check if we still have much more questions to answer. If we don't have any more questions, we'll end the class here and continue in our next class. So let's check. Okay. Someone said, I will appreciate if we organize full class on DeFi. Okay, nice. We'll work towards that. Okay. We'll work towards that. And we have a question here from Ekom L2K. He says, what if we transfer assets from one network to another? What will happen? Okay, nice. these are complex aspects of cryptocurrency. I didn't want to go into this aspect, but since you asked the question, let me just answer it in the best possible way I can. Okay. Okay. Let me I'll be dropping our social handles again. Make sure you give us a follow. Let me drop my Twitter handle as well. For those just joining, I will drop before I continue with the question. So do well to, okay, just give me some time. Follow me, follow Binance Africa, and also join our Telegram communities as well. Okay. All right. So let's go back to our question. Someone asks, what if we transfer cryptocurrency assets from one network to another? We didn't talk about networks in this class. We only focused on the Bitcoin network. Okay, we only focus on the Bitcoin network. But since you asked, now there are different types of networks. Remember, I said there are different types of cryptocurrency assets. So are the different types of networks. So last time I checked, we have over 10,000 cryptocurrencies in existence. And these cryptocurrencies are built on different networks. Okay, let's take, for instance, PancakeSwap token is built on the Binance Smart Chain or the Binance network. 1inch is built on the Ethereum network. We can also call this network blockchains. Remember earlier I said there are different types of blockchains, and this blockchain is a distributed ledger that stores or records each and every transaction that happens in that particular blockchain. So let's say you send Bitcoin on the Bitcoin blockchain. Every transaction that happens there is stored on the Bitcoin blockchain. But in a situation whereby you send cryptocurrency from one network or one blockchain to another, in most cases, you won't be able to carry out those kind of transactions. The transactions won't go through. Okay, the transactions will go through because there's what we call addresses, cryptocurrency addresses, and these addresses, they have certain prefix, like the Bitcoin prefix, a Bitcoin address starts with 1 or BTC, whereas your Ethereum address starts with 0x. So if you're trying to send cryptocurrency assets from Bitcoin network to Ethereum network, you won't be able to do that because our wallets are smart these days. So they will detect that that prefix is missing, and as such, won't be able to carry that transaction. But there's also a situation whereby, like in the case of Binance network and Ethereum network, they all have the same prefix. Okay, they all have the same prefix. They all start with 0x, your Binance network, your Ethereum network, your Matic network. Okay, they start with 0x prefix. Once you send a cryptocurrency asset from the Binance network to the Ethereum network, most likely the cryptocurrency asset is lost on the blockchain. You can't get it back. Okay, although there are advanced ways where you can do advanced measures you can take, but that's not what we have for this class. But basically, once you send a cryptocurrency asset from one network to another network, which is not the same network, the cryptocurrency asset is lost in the blockchain. So it is very important that you confirm the network and the address that you're sending to before you carry out any transaction. So let's check if we have more questions. And if we do not have much questions, then we'll call it a wrap for today's class. So I don't think I have more questions. So if you have any questions, we still have a few minutes left. You can drop in your questions while I drop the form. So, okay, no questions, no questions, no questions. All right, I'll be dropping the form in the Jiffy in absence of no questions. So thank you each and every one of you for making out time to join me. And for those that couldn't make out time, or for those who were unable to stay to the end, I've got a recorded session of the class. I'll also be dropping it on the group later on. So in case you missed the class, or you might want to share what you learned with your friends. So I'll be dropping a recorded session. So I thank you all for joining, for making our time to join. Do keep in touch. Remember, I said earlier, this is a two-part series. Today's class was about the fundamentals of cryptocurrency, and that's what we focused on. But in our class on Sunday, we'll be delving into P2P, specifically Binance P2P, and how to navigate that system. So I'm dropping the form now. I'm dropping the Google form now for the giveaway. So fill the form. I'll be watching. The first 5 people to do that would get a reward from me. Okay. All right. Also do well to invite your friends for the class on Sunday. I know most of you here from the response, most of you here are already interested in the P2P class. Not to worry. We'll try our best and cover up all you need to know about P2P in our coming class. So till then, I wish you a good night rest while I drop the link for the giveaway. I wish you a good night rest and a great weekend ahead. So thank you everyone for attending. I'll see you guys in the group. If you also have follow-up questions, you can hit me up. You can ask the questions on the group. And please try as much as possible to ask questions on the group so that others who might have similar questions would see the questions and I'll be able to answer them. Okay. So thank you each and every one of you for attending. It was nice doing this with you guys. See you guys on Sunday. Goodbye.